Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis is preparing to present her election interference case against Donald Trump to the grand jury. Georgia's former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan and independent journalist George Chidi both confirmed they received notice to appear in court tomorrow after being subpoenaed to testify. Former Georgia State Senator Jen Jordan and former lawmaker Blayne have also been called to testify in the case.
It marks a major move forward for the two-year investigation into the alleged attempts from Trump and his allies to reverse the 2020 election results in Georgia. And it comes just weeks after the former president was indicted on federal election interference charges by special counsel Jack Smith. He pleaded not guilty in that case. For more on this, let's bring in NBC News correspondent Blayne Alexander, who is at the Fulton County Courthouse. And joining us right here on set is NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Good morning to the both of you. Blayne, we'll begin with you there on the ground. What are we learning about these witnesses that were called to testify in these grand jury proceedings? What does it tell us about where District Attorney Willis is in her investigation at this point?
Well, guys, it tells us that she's poised to present to a grand jury this week. You know, when we look at the witnesses, it certainly gives us insight into how she's going to be presenting this case to the grand jury. We know that she has a much more widened scope of investigation beyond just that infamous phone call from Donald Trump to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. So when you look at the two people that we know are going to testify, it shows you just how she's going to be putting this case before a grand jury. Let's start with George Chidi. He is an independent journalist. He's the person who kind of stumbled, in his words, upon this meeting of the alternate electors at the state capitol back in 2020. He's the one who was also ushered quickly out of the room. So likely he's going to be asked to testify about that. So we know, of course, that she's looking into that slate of fake electors. And then, of course, when you look at the former Lieutenant Governor, Jeff Duncan, a Republican, he can speak to the pressure that former President Trump and his allies put on state officials to overturn the election results here in Georgia. Here's a little bit of what he said over the weekend, looking ahead to his testimony tomorrow. Take a look.
Yeah, I did just receive notification to appear on Tuesday morning at the Fulton County Grand Jury, and I certainly will be there to do my part in recounting the facts. I have no expectations as to the questions, and I'll certainly answer whatever questions put in front of me, and certainly don't want to go any deeper than that to jeopardize or compromise the investigation. But look, for me, this is a story that is important for Republicans to hear, Americans to hear. Let's hear the whole truth and nothing but the truth about Donald Trump's actions and the surrounding cast of characters around him.
And so you heard from him. Now, those are the two that we know are going to testify tomorrow. There are two others who have received their subpoena that NBC News has also been in touch with. We've been in touch with them, Jen Jordan and Blayne. Both of them are former state lawmakers. They're important to this investigation because they were inside a panel where they heard presentations from Rudy Giuliani, where he espoused a number of since debunked claims about Georgia's election and election fraud here in the state. Of course, we know that that's something that Fani Willis has included in the scope of her investigation as well, guys.
Danny, let's turn to you. Does a summons to testify mean that a witness has to appear before a grand jury, and does it make a difference that they were also subpoenaed?
Under Georgia law, it appears that the summons is basically similar to a subpoena. A grand jury subpoena commands someone to either bring documents or themselves and come testify. And in this case, while normally in legal parlance, a summons is something more like when you're sued in court, you have to be served with a summons, or jury members are summoned to the courthouse. Under Georgia law, they appear to be about the functional equivalent.
Danny, we don't know the charges that Willis is seeking here specifically yet, though it has been strongly sort of suggested anti-racketeering statutes could come up. Explain that to us and what the potential implication of that is.
Racketeering, super complicated statute. Georgia law has a very broad racketeering statute, arguably broader than the federal counterpart. And that's why prosecutors like using it. Basically, what it involves is an enterprise, and that enterprise could arguably be the Trump campaign. It could also be the presidency itself. And then you also have a pattern of racketeering and activity. And really all that is two or more of what are called predicate crimes or acts. And those predicate crimes are listed in the statute. And the reason prosecutors love RICO statutes is that they have longer statutes of limitations, that you can fold in all these different acts. You don't even necessarily need to prove the underlying crimes, or you could charge those underlying crimes as well. What it does is it really just broadens a prosecutor's power to bring charges. But don't be surprised if there isn't any racketeering charges in an indictment at all. The prosecutor could charge the underlying crimes that make up the predicates, because maybe the prosecutor sees that as easier. But if this is a large indictment indicting a number of people, I would expect there's a good chance you'd see a RICO charge.
Blayne, security for District Attorney Willis has been increased over the last few weeks, but a social media post from Trump over the weekend is bringing more attention to Willis. Is her security expected to heighten again as a result?
You know, I think it's important to point out that these attacks are nothing new, right? She certainly had heightened security for quite some time, more than a year ago. She told me that she was upping her security because of all of the threats. And certainly we've heard from the former president calling her out, slamming the investigation, even from the campaign trail, different speeches. So these attacks are nothing new. What is new is that they've increased in recent days and they've become more pointed. He's also, his campaign has launched an ad that has been airing on Atlanta television, also smearing the DA and her investigation. She responded to that ad in an email to her employees, basically saying, listen, don't get distracted. Don't, really read into this, even telling them don't go out and defend me on social media or talk about this. We have a job to do. We need to stay focused. So to your question about security, her security is high. It's been high, and I'd imagine it's going to continue to remain high for the coming days and weeks, guys.
Okay, Blayne Alexander, thank you, and Danny Cevallos, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.